We've done some editing on the timeline. We've changed some volume levels. We've added edits and moved clips around a little. Let's put together something like a real project. Let's select our interview. Because I've already logged my footage, I know at 1:55-ish, there's a good opening clip. I'm going to drop an in point with the I key and then take a listen.
I think before a kid comes through the CAC, they're scared. They don't know what to expect. They've just had this horrific thing happen to them, and they have all of these people that want to talk to them. So coming to a place like this, I think would have to be scary up front. But we hope that once they walk through the doors, that they see that there's a team of people who want to work with them and who believe them, and just want to let them tell their story.
Let's stop there and set an out point by hitting O. This is a long video, so this short selection doesn't look like a lot here in the trimmer, but let's pick it up, drop it on the timeline on video track 1. You'll notice two things. First, it's asking if we want to change the settings again. Because we're putting this on an empty timeline, it gives us the chance to make the settings match the clip again. So yes. And here's our clip on the timeline. You'll also notice that it has audio. So not only is there a video clip on video 1 track, but there's an audio clip on the audio 1 track. We'll trim it up a bit. And as I trim the video track, notice that it also trims the audio at the same time. It keeps them in sync. We'll look at that in a second, but let's pick this clip up and drag it to the beginning of the timeline. Now she's speaking at the very beginning of the timeline without that short pause at the start.
I think before a kid comes through the CAC.
If I wanted to adjust the audio separately from the video for some reason, I'd hold down the Alt key while trimming with the mouse, and it lets me edit just the audio or just the video, and it leaves the other track untouched. Now my picture starts at the beginning, but my audio, it comes in just a moment later. I'm going to Control Z to undo that because I don't want that, but I just wanted to show you the tool. Same as with any audio track, I can adjust the volume. I want to leave it where it is for now though, because it's at a pretty good level. While it plays, you can check over here on the audio meter. I want it to usually bounce around -12 to -6, but always less than 0. 0 means it overmodulates and it's just too loud for the program to handle. Let's quickly Control S just to save as we go, in case, heaven forbid, anything happens. And here are a couple more keyboard shortcuts that are worth knowing while we're doing this. First are the J, K, and L keys. The J key, it plays backwards. The K key stops, and the L key moves forward. The more times you hit the J or the L, the faster it'll move in that direction. So you can move around your footage pretty quickly with those 3 keys, either in the trimmer or in the viewer. It's handy that those keys, they're just below the I and O buttons, because then you can quickly move around your footage and set your in and out points all with one hand once you get used to it. And just below the JKL keys are the comma and the period keys, which also have the lesser than arrow and the greater than arrow. They move you 1 frame in the direction of the lesser or greater arrow. So comma moves you back a single frame of video, and period moves you forward a single frame. Again, once you're used to it all, you can do all that with one hand without even looking. Let's add the music to this piece. We'll need a second track of audio to do that because the interview is on track 1, right? So we'll need to add an audio track. I'm going to right click on audio track 1 over here on the left and select Insert Track. That'll add a new track below audio track 1 appropriately called audio track 2. Now with 2 tracks of audio, I can drop my song onto track 2 and edit it real quick so it begins with the music just like we did last time. Now when I hit play, it'll play the audio from the interview and the music at the same time. Spacebar to play.
I think before a kid comes through the CAC, they're scared. They don't know what to expect. They've just had this horrific thing happen to them, and they have all of these people that want to talk to them.
The music gets a little loud, which makes it hard to hear the interview in some places, so let's adjust that. You can see the waveform for the music, which shows you just how loud things are. The level is okay in the beginning, but here, where it gets louder, it just got hard to hear her speak. It was fighting with the music, so I'm going to bring down the overall level just a bit, and let's listen to that.
I think before a kid comes through the CAC, they're scared. They don't know what to expect. They've just had this horrific thing happen to them, and they have all of these people that want to talk to them. So coming to a place like
That's
this.
a much better volume for this. It makes the music start a bit more subtly, and it lets you hear her interview. I'm going to use the slice tool, remember the C key, to cut the end of this music, and then use the arrow tool, which is the V key, to select the part I don't want and hit delete to get rid of it. Let's look at another feature here and add a little fade out to the music at the end to make the ending just feel a little less abrupt. When my mouse is on the volume line, it becomes a little double up and down arrow, showing that I can move the line up or down. If I hit the control button while I'm on the line, it becomes a plus sign. Now watch what happens when I click the line while holding control. It leaves a little marker there. I'll add another marker here at the end, and now I can move them. When I move this last marker, it adjusts the volume from the earlier marker to this one, and you can see the line move down diagonally, which fades the audio out at the end. Take a listen.
Believe them and just, just let them tell their story.
Now, not a perfect ending, but it makes it a little nicer. And here's another quick example where you can hear the music fade in and out. It'll sound lousy, but it makes a good example of how you can adjust the volume in the middle of a clip too.
Have to be scary up front, but we hope that once they walk through the doors that they see that there's a team of people who want.
I'll Control Z and undo that because it sounds terrible, but you can see you can adjust levels throughout the timeline. Let's add some B-roll footage to this interview so that while she's talking and the music's playing, you can see something else on the screen. Let's select this clip, the girl with the balloons again. It still has the in and out points that we selected earlier, so we can just drag her down. The video tracks already have a track 2, so I don't need to add one. We can just drop her on top of the interview and there she is. Editing programs, they'll usually show in the viewer whatever's on the highest numbered track. So when I lay this down on track 2, we'll see the girl instead of the interview because the interview's on a lower track. Now looking at the timeline window, it kind of looks like the interviews just disappeared from the sequence, right? It's because the window scrolled down to make room to show the clip with the girl with balloons. If I use the mouse's scroll wheel while I'm down here in this window, in the video part, you can see the interview is still there. It's just hidden. And there's a little separating bar from the video and the audio. I can adjust that by picking it up and moving it to give the video a little more room. Now I can see both tracks of video. You can also move the audio around with the scroll wheel just by being down in the audio portion. Now watch as I play back. The interview plays, then the girl comes in, then it goes back to the interview. Again, this computer stutters the video playback a little bit, but you get the idea. Let's call it a day here before this video gets too crazy long. We'll just look at a last few functions in our next lesson and then learn how to export the finished video.